What's good, YouTube? It's your boy BallOrFallBird, the one and only Mr. BallOrFall, the one and only Mr. Do It All, the one and only Mr. Everything Under the Sun will get done because your boy is best beyond. Listen, man. I got a banger for y'all today. And like I told y'all, we are going 10 times harder now. I am going 10 times harder now with the content that I'm pushing out, with the meaning behind all of this. And then, everything under the sun, like I said, so we're finna go ahead and get into it. This is phase one. This is part one. This is video one of the BallOrFall series, which is nothing more, nothing less than a series about us getting our life together and us changing our lives, the steps, actionable steps, and everything that we need to do to actually make that happen this year. All right. So this series will be at least 5 to 7 videos. So within this series, like I said, I'm giving y'all the game, man. So we're finna go ahead and get started. I know when I say what I'm about to say next, a lot of people may click off of this video. A lot of people may not agree with me. A lot of people may feel some kind of way about it. But we have to first understand this for us to really get ready to change our lives. And what I have to say is everything in our life that we have or don't have, good, bad, and indifferent, every up, every down, every good thing, every bad thing, every high, every low, every mountaintop, every valley, every setback, and every comeback is our fault. And when I say this, I'm not saying any of this to put any of us down. So when I say us, I'm talking to y'all just like I'm talking to myself. You see what I'm saying? A lot of times they say in the situation between a teacher and a student, the teacher learns just as much, if not more, because the teacher is having to give examples. The teacher is having to give ways for the student to be able to understand it. So whenever the teacher is teaching these things, the teacher has to, the teacher is, learning examples that happen in their life. So that's the same thing that's going on with me right now. Whenever I speak about these things, I'm learning just like I'm, teaching it to y'all for y'all to learn as well. It's our fault. And I'm not saying this to beat any of us down. I'm not saying any of this to beat any of us down. I'm saying this strictly so that we can take our power back. It's time for us to take our power back. It's time for us to get in gear. This, like I said, this is the first step for us to get the things that we want out of life. So we have to start owning up to the things that's happening in our life, good, bad, or indifferent. Everything that we have today is a result of what we did. Everything that we don't have today is a result of what we did not do or what we did as well. So when I say these things, it often, reminds me of things in my life. Procrastination is my biggest killer. Me personally, procrastination has probably stripped a lot of things away from me. Now, at the end of the day, I understand that everything works in God's plan. But at the same time, I can say a lot of the things that I've wanted in my life, a lot of things that even possibly end up getting worse than what they could have been or what they should have been happened because of procrastination. Me waiting around or me not taking action right then and there, so on and so forth. So when I say these things, I think about my personal experiences with procrastination. I think about my personal experiences with my financial literacy. Yes, I can sit around and blame my parents. I can sit around and blame their parents. I can blame everyone else around me for not teaching me financial literacy. But at the end of the day, it's my fault. At the end of the day, it is my fault that I did not learn financial literacy, whether that be the people that I hung around, the people that I didn't hang around, the things that I watched on TV as opposed to did not watch on TV. The books that I read versus the books that I did not read. When I think about all these things, I have to put it back on myself. Because just as easy as I picked up this book or I watched this TV show or I hung around this friend, it's the same way that I could have picked up a financial book. I could have watched a financial literacy course or something. Or I could have had a friend that was better off in their finances. You are the sum total of the 5 friends that you hang around. You are the sum total of the things that you do on a daily basis. So the things that I did on a daily basis did not bring me the things that I want in my life today. And the reason why I'm making this video is because I visited the exotic car dealership today. I saw Lamborghinis, I saw Ferraris, I saw McLarens, I saw Rolls Royces, I saw Bentleys, I saw Lotus. I saw all these different cars and trucks. And it just made me think Bird, you could have that. And not to be a coulda, shoulda, woulda type person, but I could have all of that. The things that kept me from that are the reason why I am where I am today. I think about the fact that I made over $200,000 in college between refund checks, between football checks, breeding and selling dogs, selling shoes, cleaning shoes, training dogs, all of that sum total. I did the calculations. I made over $200,000 in college. Had I invested $20,000 of that, 10% of that, then possibly today, if I would have continued to invest, it would have paid for my own Lamborghini that I wanted. I got inside of a Lamborghini today and it felt amazing. But it was also bittersweet because I told myself, Bird, you could have one. You should have one. That is your dream car. You should have one. The fact that you don't have it is a result of all the things that you did or did not do. So I had to keep it real with myself. I had to be honest with myself. I had to really sit back and I had to really understand that the things that I don't have in my life are literally just because of my actions or my inactions. When I had this experience at the exotic car dealership, I think about two books, my very first two books that I've ever read cover to cover. The 12 Universal Laws of Success and The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. And in both books, they give key examples, amongst other books, amongst even the Bible. The Bible is the best teacher in life. But I'm talking about, books that, everybody can go read. You may not be a Christian, anything like that. So I'm not going to speak on any of those. I'm not going to speak on the Bible specifically. But the Bible is the best teacher of life. But when I speak on books that I've read cover to cover, the 12 Universal Laws of Success and Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, I think about how in the 12 Universal Laws of Success, one of the very first things that he states is, as people, we have to understand that we create our life. We have to look at life in the example of life is a garden and we are the gardener. What this means is everything in our life, we have the ability to create. We can plant whatever seeds we want. We can plant whatever flowers or things that we want in the universe, in our life. So when we plant these seeds, it's upon us to continue to groom this garden, to take care of this garden, to water it, give it sunlight, do what we have to do to keep the weeds out. Or if we neglect the garden, or if we plant bad things inside the garden, that's when the weeds grow. That's when the negative things come in our life. That's when the negative thoughts, emotions, all of that kind of stuff comes into our life because we're not taking care of the garden correctly. Another example that he gives is, you soweth nothing, you getteth nothing. And that's a little bit of a tongue twister for me, but nonetheless, what that means is basically like what I've stated in a previous video. If we sow nothing, even if we plant a seed, but we do nothing else with that seed, nothing just stays status quo. Nothing stays exactly the same. In life, we're either growing or we're dying. That's why I say we have to be on our purpose. That's why I say that we have to be moving towards something. Because if we're not moving towards something, if we're not pushing forward, then we're going backwards. If we're not growing, we're dying. So whenever I say these things, whenever I think of these things, I think of just that. If I plant a seed, it's not going to stay the same. If I don't take care of my garden at all, that's when the weeds start to come. We have to affirmatively cultivate the flowers. We have to affirmatively cultivate this garden. Make sure that this garden is the most beautiful thing in the world. The flowers in our garden are the things, like I said, that we want to get out of life, the good things in our life. The weeds are the bad things, the bad experiences, the bad emotions, the bad thoughts. And we don't want that. Another book that, like I said, The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. In this book, he talks about 17 wealth vows to make somebody on the path to become financially successful. Within this wealth vows, within the 17 wealth vows, I find it amazing that the very first wealth vow out of all 17 is, wealth vow number 1 is, rich people believe I create my life. Poor people believe life happens to me. And when he's talking about rich and poor people, he's not necessarily talking about how much money somebody has in their bank account. Because me personally, I'm not somebody that has $1 million in my bank account, but I'm a rich person. I have rich thoughts. I have abundant thoughts. I have thoughts that's like, okay, if this goes away, I'm pretty sure something else will come back. It's not an excuse to do away and not give action and intention towards this, but it's to say, okay, if God didn't want me to have this, I know something better is coming. That is where the abundant thoughts come. That's where the rich thoughts come. Whereas on the other end, if you have a poor mindset, then you're like, oh, well, that was the only opportunity I was ever going to get. That was the only chance I was ever going to get. So like I said, wealth vow number 1 literally states, rich people believe I create my life. Poor people believe life happens to me. So when we see this, when we think about this, what we can really start to understand is that poor people with poor mindsets, they have a victim mindset. They like to play the role of a victim. And the key word there is play, because you're not a victim. I'm not a victim. Nothing in my life that has happened to me is due to an external source or external event. Everything in my life that has happened to me or hasn't happened to me is a result of my action or inaction. Every place that I was that I got hurt, every place that I wasn't that could have gotten me somewhere closer to my goals is my fault. And I have to understand that, and we have to understand that. People that play the role of the victim normally have 3 types of traits. They like to blame it on an external factor, they like to justify it, or they like to complain about it. All 3 of which takes the power away from them. If I blame this on you, and not myself, even though y'all could have had something to do with it, I can blame myself for being in this position. I can take it all the way back to years prior to why I'm in this position, why I'm even dealing with this person. So I can think about all of that, and then I can honestly say, okay, well, the fact that these shouldn't have even been my friends in the first place. I shouldn't have been hanging around this person in the first place. I shouldn't have been in this environment in the first place. So I have to take that accountability. I'm not going to blame my circumstances on any external people or factors. Number 2, justifying. Number 2, when you justify things, you start to think of things like, oh, well, it's okay that I don't have this. Like I said, I can easily blame or justify the fact that my parents didn't teach me financial literacy. None of my friends taught me financial literacy. None of the people that I looked up to as mentors and, father figures or whatever the case in my life taught me financial literacy. So I can easily blame them or justify it. It doesn't make it right, but it doesn't make it easier on me. And then number 3, complaining about things. When we complain about things, we're just saying, oh man, I hate the position that I'm in. So, and I'm gonna leave that at that. So when I say all of these things, blame, justification, and complaining, all 3 of these things, what do they do for us? In the book, it literally states that, and it's so funny that these are nothing more than like a pill. You take a pill, it suppresses the pain, it suppresses the feeling of whatever you're feeling right then and there in that moment. But at the end of the day, it's all gonna come back. I can sit here, complain, blame, and justify every situation that's happened in my life. But when I go lay down in my bed at night, I'm the one that's thinking about it. All these thoughts come into my head. They may not even go into that person's head that I'm trying to blame. They might not even go into that person's head that I'm trying to justify the situation after. The situation damn sure don't care about me, so there's no point of complaining about the situation. So when I say all of these things, I say all of this because now I want to lead us to the solution. What is the solution, Bird? The solution is nothing more than 2 things, because I'm never going to give us a problem anymore without giving us solutions. I was, before in my other videos, I was quick to tell us what we need to be doing, and I probably didn't explain it in the best way possible. I gave examples of my personal examples. I gave possibly another example of, how it can relate to you, but I really don't feel like I gave y'all clear and concise solutions to how we solve this. We solve this by doing 2 things. Number 1, we start declaring our daily declarations, not affirmations and not manifestations. Daily declarations. The way declarations are different than affirmations and manifestations. Manifestation is saying, I will have this one day. I will have this one day. I will be this one day. Affirmations is, I am this. I am that. Which are all good. I'm not saying don't continue with that. Continue with that. Continue with your prayer. Continue with all of that. But when God put us on this earth, he also gave us a certain power. That's why I said before, the power of the tongue. We have to declare what we're going to do. We have to declare what we want to be. So a declaration is different from an affirmation and a manifestation by saying, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I am. I am a person with a millionaire mindset. I am a person with the habits of a millionaire. I am the person that has the habits of a successful person. I will work for my $1 million. I will put things in action for my $1 million. So on and so forth. So the three daily declarations that we're going to give ourselves are, number 1, I create my life and everything in it. I create my life and everything in it. Number 2, life is a garden and I am always the gardener. Life is a garden and I am always the gardener. And then number 3, everything I want in life, I can give it to myself if I work for it. Number 3, everything I want in life, I can give it to myself if I work for it. So these declarations are meant to be spoken every single day. make us be able to internalize that we are the people that create our life. Everything that's gonna come in our life is gonna be due to us. Like I said, we still believe we still believe in God. We still believe in everything that God has to offer us. But we have to put the action in. Sometimes we gotta show God, all right, God, this is what I want out of my life. And then God will start to put the things in front of us in the places. He will start to lead us to people. He will start to lead us in directions. And if it's not what's in his plan for us, then we also have to make sure that we pray for him to reveal that to us as well. Second, the next thing that we have to start doing is replacing inconsistent action with urgent action following education, thoughts, and feelings. We are replacing inconsistent action with urgent action following education, thoughts, and feelings. What do I mean by this? What I mean by this is whenever we have a thought, whenever we have a feeling, whenever we learn something new, we need to be applying this information. We need to be having urgent action. Remember what I said in one of my previous videos. Knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is power. What do I mean by this? Applied knowledge is power because whenever we learn something, that is not just power alone. It's many people that's way smarter than me. But the fact that I try things out, the fact that I go do things, that's what makes me powerful. The fact that I'm cool with messing up 1,000 times before I actually learn how to do it the correct way. Sometimes that's what makes me more powerful than that person who, felt like they had to read the whole book, watch every YouTube video, watch every tutorial, and still hasn't even done their first job. Still haven't even done their first, whatever the case may be. Applied knowledge is power. Learn what we can learn as fast as we can learn it, and then go ahead and go try it. Think about something like everyone, if you graduated high school, if you graduated middle school, you had to learn a foreign language in school. But the problem with our school system, and I'm not going to get too deep into it, the problem with our school system is it had us learning Spanish, but really we were just learning vocab. Really we were just learning how to write phrases and just be able to repeat it back to the teacher. But never did we apply what we learned. Had I learned como está in Spanish class the same day and then went to the lunchroom and then every time I greeted one of my friends, every time I greeted a stranger, I said, hola, como está? I would start to remember it. And then I would start to remember phrases that come after. I would start to, then somebody may correct me. Somebody of Hispanic descent may come up and correct me and say, oh, no, it needs to be said like this. Or once you say that, then you follow up with this. So that's what we have to get to next. We have to start applying the knowledge that we learn. Next, we're going to start giving ourselves expedited deadlines to get things done. We're not going to wait around. We're going to eliminate procrastination. If this is something that's big for me, I'm giving myself expedited deadlines. If I want to do it by the end of the week, I'm going to say, fuck it, I'm going to do it tonight. If I want to do it by the end of the day, I'm going to see what I can do to open up my schedule so I can do it by the end of this hour. We have to give ourselves expedited deadlines. Whenever I have a thought about something, whenever I have a feeling about something, I see the dishes in the sink. I see a pile of clothes laying around in the laundry hamper, or whatever the case may be. I'm going to go ahead and do it right then and there as long as the time allows. Or I'm going to make the time. How about that? I'm not even if the time allows. I'm going to make the time. Because often, I heard a saying here recently, the road to heaven often feels like hell, and the road to hell often feels like heaven. What does this mean? When we delay our gratification, putting ourselves through hell, then that's often what leads us to the heavens. That's often what leads us to the better things, the things that we really want out of life. But when we give ourselves this time on the front end, instead of doing the dishes right now, I'm going to go watch TV, and I'm going to go play my video game, and I'm going to go eat snacks and stuff like that. Possibly even use more dishes. Instead of doing the dishes right then and there, now I done added to those dishes, or I done let them linger on, and now I really don't feel like doing it later, putting myself in hell. And that is so crazy to me because I love that saying now. The road to heaven often feels like hell, and the road to hell often feels like heaven. The things that I'm giving myself leeway for doing right now, instead of not doing, are the things that's going to have me feeling like, damn, like I should have did this a long time ago. Procrastination leads to hell. Urgent action leads to heaven. How about that? That's what we're going to say. So like I said, man, we have two things that we have to do. It's only two things that we have to do to start taking our power back. Number one, daily declarations. We're going to repeat these every day when we wake up and before we go to sleep so that we can start to internalize and start to really realize that we are the creators of our life. We are the ones that puts things in our lives and takes things away, along with Big God. And then number 2, replacing inconsistent action with urgent action following education, thoughts, and feelings. That's all we have to do, man. Hey, man, it's your boy BallOrFallBird, man. I hope y'all love this video today, man. It's the BallOrFallBird, the one and only Mr. BallOrFall, the one and only Mr. Do It All, the one and only Mr. Everything Under the Sun will get done because your boy is blessed beyond. Hey, man, please send in more videos. Please send in more thoughts, questions, or anything else that y'all want me to talk about, and I promise I'm going to get to them. Hey, man, thank y'all.